Now, remember the last time you were here, what kind of colors did we talk about? What did we paint? What did we paint on our color wheel? We did our primary colors. Yeah. So remember, there's our primary. What are the three primary colors?
Red, yellow, blue.
Good. So look at our primary colors. We talked about we have red, yellow, and blue that are going to be shown on our color wheel. So those are the colors that you already painted. Now, when we mix two primaries together, what do we get? Do you remember? We talked about this last year, but it's been a while. What do we get, Eva?
Secondary colors.
Our secondary colors, you are right. And who can tell me what our secondary colors are? Green, purple, and
Orange.
orange. Green, purple, and orange. So today, we're going to be mixing our secondary colors. So we're going to add to our color wheel green, purple, and orange. So look at those pictures done nicely with some of our secondary colors. So today we're going to talk about mixing those colors. But before we do, the first thing I want you to do is come right here to our color wheel, to our sheet, and down here at the bottom it says the secondary colors are. And so just like we wrote in the primaries, we're going to put in, do you want to say them with me?
Green.
Oh, our secondaries. Orange, purple,
Purple.
and green.
Green.
Good. Now, if you want to, you can put, just like Mrs. Stodghill did before, you can put a little initial next to the color. So if we mix yellow and blue, what are we going to get in the middle? Green. So I can put a little G next to this just to make sure I don't forget. Now, when I mix red and yellow, what do I get?
Orange.
Yeah, so I'm going to put a little O right there next to my yellow and red. And now these two are going to come together,
Purple.
and I'm going to get purple. That's the first step. Now, at your table, we're going to get a mixing tray. And the mixing tray is where we're going to put just a little bit of the colors into our little well. This is just a little paint well. And we put a little bit of color in there, and we're going to mix it together to get our secondary colors. We need water to rinse out our brush. So I'm going to start out, and I'm going to use my lightest color first. Now, something I want to remind you is that the red is the strong color. Red is super strong. So a tiny bit of red is going to change the yellow really quickly. So I'm going to put some yellow and see how I can just use my brush and scoop up a little bit. And I'm going to wipe it on the side. So I'm not smearing it around in there. I'm just wiping it on the side. So I'm going to get a little yellow because I want to mix it with red. And since I have yellow, I'm going to go ahead and make one for this one too. So I'm going to get a little yellow, put it in there, scoop just a little bit. Sometimes I see boys and girls that do this. They just have a little bit of paint on their brush and then they do this and they spread it around. And now there's hardly any paint in there to really mix together. There's not enough in there, but they try and paint with that and it doesn't work very well. So we want a little glob of paint to really be able to mix it up. So I'm done getting yellow, so what do I need to do? Rinse, exactly. So I'm going to rinse my brush out gently without tapping. I'm just going to rinse my brush out. And then remember, I dab it on my paper towel.
Ooh, it looks like you're painting kind of.
So I'm going to get, remember what I said, just a tiny bit of red. I can always get more, but I'm just going to get a little dab of red, and I'm going to mix it in with my yellow. Let's see if it changes. Ooh.
It's starting orange.
Now, if I want it to be more orange than that, if I want it to be more orange, yeah, I'm going to get a little bit more red. Tiny bit more red. So I'm going to dab my brush off, make sure there's no orange on it, and get a tiny bit more red. Ooh, and I think that is pretty perfect. Pretty perfect. So I'm going to go ahead over here. I'm going to double check. Is that where I want it?
Yeah.
So between my yellow and red, I'm going to paint in my orange. Again, painting carefully.
This feels good. Why? Oh, that's nice.
Beautiful. So I'm ready to rinse my brush. Dab it on my paper towel. Make sure it's all clean. I don't see any orange on my paper towel, so I know it's clean enough to dip in. And what am I going to get now?
Blue.
Yeah, just remember, just a little bit though.
The blue is really.
Because the blue is so dark, I'm actually going to wipe a little bit off.
Blue is pretty.
Yeah, I'm going to wipe a little bit off on there because I can get some more of that in just a minute. So I'm going to mix it into my yellow and see if I get what I want.
Green.
Oh, yeah.
Green. That's like magic. Yes.
So beautiful.
How do you do that?
Now, if I want that to be just a little bit darker, I'm going to take a little bit more of this blue and mix it in.
Oh, that's very soft. That's very.
Oh, man, but that's beautiful. If I needed more yellow, what would I do?
You would rinse the breast.
Did you hear Brianna? Rinse it. So I'm going to wipe the paint off so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to rinse my brush out. Dab it. Make sure I don't have any green in my brush. Does that look pretty good?
Yes.
I'm going to get a tiny bit more yellow and mix it in because I made it a little darker than I wanted. And now that it's so perfect, it looks a little bit darker on the screen, but now that it's so perfect, I'm going to go ahead and paint it in there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Now, boys and girls, because our time is a little bit short, I'm going to go ahead and have you get started. So if we have time, we'll come back to blue and red, but I want you to start with this and see if we get that much done. Okay?